waiting on the concrete to tighten up here on the sidewalk. Just spreading some stone, getting the patio ready. 2B limestone, nice clean limestone. It locks together good. If we go about 2 inches thick, we do not need to tamp it. It locks itself together. No tamping required. Okay, patio is ready to go. Got our grade pin in, rebar and wire in place. We just need to tie them and get them up on our chairs. We'll do that in the morning. That way, if anybody, is walking there tonight, they're not going to trip on them. This is the last thing we're pouring here this year. So it's been a fun project. Loading up some trucks, heading on in. Thanks for tuning in to Concrete with the Hosses. See you in the morning. Hey, good morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Concrete with the Hosses. This is my usual morning. I try and get up to the garage just 10 or 15 minutes before everybody, and I get our little piles in order for the daily project. Here, let me show you what I'm working on. So over here, I have Tommy and Matt going to saw cut a floor we did 2 days ago. It was cold yesterday, so we didn't saw cut it. We skipped a day. So they have our soft cut saw, a still chop saw, and a still leaf blower. Now I'll get them a push broom here, but that will get loaded into their truck. And over here I have Steven and Stan heading to do our exposed aggregate sidewalk that we prepped and poured yesterday. So we have our power washer, our scrubber, and we use this on sidewalks because it just blows it right off the edge, and it's a little bit, I wouldn't say quicker, but it's a little bit cleaner. So we'll get these two items. I have to get the hose hanging up right here. Just wanted to show you my morning routine. So we'll go ahead and get that loaded in the truck and get on the road. So I hope you enjoy the day. Okay, truck's all mixed up. Wire and rebar up on chairs. The sun is coming up. Nice easy patio here. Watching this front, good. I'll go ahead and get the camera set up and get this poured. Okay, pretty simple pour, went okay. We have a little uphill climb to that step, so just had to finagle that around, and then once we got down on the bottom plane, went pretty well. Steve's bull floating it, knocking down all the little humps and bumps. So 2 or 3 times with the bull float is really all you should have to hit it. Looks like I might have a low spot right there. You feel that?
Yeah.
I'll get a little concrete. I have some here, I'll sprinkle on it. Much better. A couple little spots there, but Steve will close them up. Okay. So in case you're wondering, we held this down 1.5 inches. They're going to put a skim coat of mortar and then some tile stones on top of this to bring us up to the height under the door. Did not want a stamp patio. He wanted to do, do you know the name of the stone?
That's some sort of flagstone.
Yeah, a flagstone of some sort. So we just uncovered our front sidewalk. Look at all the steam coming off of there, the heat coming out of it, just from the plastic holding that in last night. It's about 26 degrees this morning. Sun's on it real nice right now. You can see how that top's just gonna come right off. So Steve's going up here. This is a real nice clean way to do sidewalks. Doesn't work so well on a driveway. It doesn't push the slurry off. So if it only has to go 2 or 3 feet, it's real nice and clean. Liking it?
A lot.
So this is the exposed we did last week. It's all sealed. We just poured this yesterday. Nice match. So this is one way to do it. It takes it off nice and even, but then you still have to follow it up with a pressure washer and clean the aggregate off. Pressure washer and a broom. A lot of sidewalk to do yet. I'll go ahead and set the camera up on time lapse and watch how Steve completes this. Okay, so we took our scrubber and went down this section of street walk. It's pretty important that whenever you're doing exposed aggregate, you kind of work it in sections at a time, because I'm sure you can see this slurry here. Like my dad said, that scrubber just kind of like pushes the slurry off to the side. It doesn't actually wash it off. That's why we have to switch over to one of our wands after we use it and power wash all the excess slurry off. But it does bring it up pretty nice. But you want to work it in sections at a time, because if you leave these sit for too long, you'll end up with lines. So you know that took me probably 20 minutes to take the scrubber down this section here, kind of work that cream off the surface, and waiting for my wand to unfreeze so that I can give this a washing. And then I'm going to hit this section up here. Same way, we'll take the scrubber down it and use the wand to blow the slurry off, and then we'll start working on the steps. I should be able to use the scrubber on most of it, but a lot of that's just going to be, you got to use the wand, because you got to get the faces, you got to get the sides. So yep. So this first section that I did here with the scrubber and the power washer is basically done. All the slurry that's on top has been scrubbed off, power washed off. Now, one thing you always need to keep in mind when you're doing stuff like this is that this is the next section I'm going to do up here. Again, I'm going to take the scrubber up it, loosen up all the slurry, all the cream on top, and then blow everything off with the wand. But you can see here it's not finished landscaping, so as I'm working towards the house that way, we're going to be dragging that hose through the mud. It's going to be coming up onto here, slopping all this up with mud and everything. And then again, whenever we come down and do the steps, we're going to have to walk in the mud to do the sides and everything. So after you're all done, after you have all of the top blown off and all the aggregate exposed, you always want to make sure you go back and just kind of stand off the concrete, because your boots are probably going to be muddy, and just clean the surface. Any dirt that gets blown on top, you want to make sure you clean off. You want to make sure you go back and hit all the walls, windows, stonework, really anything that this slurry could get blown onto, because once it dries, it's on there. There's no getting it off. And then another thing I also want to point out when using these, it's very, very important that once you hook the water up and turn the power washer on,
try not to let this sit in one spot for longer than a minute or two, because as those the jets that spin around underneath, they're gonna sit there and just kind of hit that same spot over and over again, and you'll end up with like just big giant rings. So once you get that hooked up and turned on, you gotta get it moving, and just slow, consistent speed. Okay, everybody, I gotta make this quick. My battery's about to die. We got all of the sidewalks and steps exposed. We exposed the sides pretty much the whole way back. You know, especially with steps, you never know where they're gonna end the landscaping, you know, taper their slope. So you kind of do as much as you can. Make sure you hit the face really well. And then again, after we got all of the cream and slurry off, went back and just stood off of the concrete, power washed everything from, you know, from outside. That way you can make sure you're getting any dirt or debris off the top. So this is all cleaned and exposed and ready for sealer tomorrow.